Right. This is going to be the part one of this lecture on starting a website without coding. Now, I'm going to be listing out, this is going to be like a step by step guide. It's a process which I'll advise that you pay full attention to what I'm going to be giving you, all right, in these lectures. And I want to say that building website involves a whole lot of things. Um, People tend to use coding by writing maybe HTML, CSS, JavaScript to build website. But we have situations where you may likely now there are other situations where you may likely want to build a website for a maybe a personal website, and you don't want to spend lots of money paying developers to build the site for you. You want something quick, you want something faster, and you'd want something that even personally you can manage right on your own in case you want to update changes to your personal website, or you are building an e-commerce store and you want to make changes to the prices of the product, managing the inventory, or just starting a business generally on your own. It could be even learning management system. It could be a simple website to for your business. So in that case, you need something that is easy to manage. You need something that even personally, without technical know-how, you know how to, go about the whole tools. Right. So that is when you need to learn some of these tools to build websites either on your own, or let's say you happen to outsource for a web developer, right? Then the person decides to hand over these websites to you. So this lecture is going to put you through, helping you to know how to create your own website and also helping you to know how to manage your website. Okay, now let's simply get started. It's not going to be a long one. As I said, this is a part one and it's going to be focused basically on the theoretical part. The part two will take you into the step-by-step practical guide to starting your website without the knowledge of coding. All right, so these are some of the tools that you need. Number one is a content management system. What I mean by content management system is simply a platform or an interface where this website is going to be built. All right. And we have some content management systems. Some of them include the WordPress, we have the Wix, we have some other one, the Joomla. And the another tools that you need is the hosting service. It's a hosting service that will enable you to put this your content management system to place it on their repository. Now, what I mean by repository is that when you are building website, we have what is called resources. All right. As users log to your website, as you have visitors, let's take for example that you are building a blog. All right. Now, traffic will be coming in. So the hosting service is a cloud interface where all these services, all the interactions containing your users, including maybe images, or let's say it could be an e-commerce platform and you are uploading products, you are putting images, the quantity. In fact, every database that is generated as people carry out interactions on your website are being stored in the hosting service. Another thing that can be put on your hosting service is a domain name, which is one of the things that you also need. You need a domain name, and we are going to be looking at what domain name is in a few moments from now. So we have some of the examples of hosting services. As I said, the hosting services, these are platform, especially most, as I said, they are platforms. I would say they are cloud platforms that enables you store your resources on their server. So Hostinja is one of them. So they have a cloud service where you as a user or a web developer, a web designer could have access to put up your products or to put up your website on their services. Is that clear? All right. So we have Namecheap, we have Hugo Host. The Hugo Host is, I think it should be a Nigerian based hosting service. We have the GoDaddy, should be in the US. We have Hostinja, we have Namecheap. So each of these hosting services have their different planned, right? Because obviously you have to make payment for you to create or to buy a hosting space on their server so you could put your website, right? So we have the different packages. And in the practical section, that is the part two, we'll be looking at each of these plans and which one best suits your need. A person that goes to start an e-commerce website, um may likely need a higher resource or a higher plan that would cater for the need of users, all right? Because obviously you'll be running ads and you may having high number of volume of traffic coming into your website, or even you are building a website or let's say a blog. So as your blog traffic keeps increasing, because it increases with time, provided that you are consistent with delivering quality content. Now, as it increases, you may likely need to upgrade your plan to a higher one. So all these hosting services have the features and what you need for you to build a fully standalone website. Now, let's quickly look at what is called domain name, because whenever you are building a website, you need a domain name. So this domain name is like a unique address. For example, the digitstem.com. So this is a unique address which we usually use to identify a website. So digitstem.com is a domain name. So we use it to identify a website on the internet. So google.com is a domain name. And different ones. It could be domain name for institutions, for governments, organizations, for companies, right? So it makes it easier for users to access websites without needing to remember long strings of numbers. So there are certain criteria for naming domain names, and we'll be looking at that later on. So when you are giving your website a domain name, first and foremost, you choose a domain name that is easier to remember. Domain names that does not involve too much of special characters, underscore, um forward slash, and so these are names which makes it easier for users to access your website. They don't need to start cramming the name. So these are the key things you need to know. So we have the structure of a domain name. A domain name typically consists of two parts. The first one is a top level domain, and we have it to be .com. So this is usually the last segment of a domain name, and it appears after the final dot. For example, digitstem.com. So .com is a top level domain. So we have the .org, .ng, we have .edu, .government, and we even have .com.ng. Okay, so we have some country-specific top-level domains like the UK, that's the .uk, United Kingdom. We have .de, Germany. We have Japan. In Nigeria, we have .ng. So it shows that this is a top-level domain for Nigerian. All right, for Nigeria. So then the next is what is called the second level domain. So the second level domain is a segment that precedes the top level domain. All right, and is often the name of the organization. For example, digitstem.com, www.digitstem.com. So that's the name of our organization, so or entity that owns the domain name. For example, google.com, www.google.com. So the organization is what is Google, and is what is a second level domain. Please take note that the second level domain is often the name of the organization. So if you are starting a company or a business, I would advise that your second level domain should have your brand name. Okay. But some people tend to open website, tend to choose a domain name where even the second level domain do not even correspond with the name of their brand. All right, it happens. If I happen to just start a blog, I just want to start a blog to make money, not just building any brand. All right, so I can choose to give any name of my choice. We have w3schools.com. Their brand name is W3 Schools. We have unn.com. So their institution is UNN, University of Nigeria. So these are the keynotes you put in place. With www is what is called a subdomain, which is commonly used to denote the World Wide Web. Now, example is what is the second level domain. Okay, and then we have the .com. Now, what are the purposes and the uses of a domain name? So we use primarily to make it easy for users to access our website. Right, it will be so difficult for people to type this because this is also an address. All right. So it will be difficult instead of typing something like this to be easier for people to type stuff like this, example.com, like digitstem.com, to be easier than people to type all these things. So also for brand identity, a domain name can reflect the brand or identity of a business or organization. It can, in some other cases, people There are other cases where people do not really use their domain name as their brand identity. So it happens. And also we have the email addresses. So domain names are also used in email addresses, such as we may have like the support at digitstem.com. We also have stuff like the admin.digitstem.com, vendors at digitstem.com. So whenever you are about starting a website, these are the key things you need to know. I've talked about hosting, I've talked about the content management system to use, and I've talked about domain name. So these are the key things I'm talking on this lecture. So in subsequent ones, as a part 2, we would go through the different domain. Okay, we are going to be choosing a domain name. We'll also be choosing a hosting for our website, and then we will be installing WordPress. So WordPress is the content management system that we'll focus on in this playlist. Please take your time. I believe this lectures is going to enlighten you more and open you up to the world of website development. You may not really have what it takes to build your skill set in the website development, such as learning PHP and the rest, maybe because of time. A lot of guys jump on WordPress because they want to quickly build websites for people. So with the knowledge of this WordPress, you can actually build a website agency platform where you deliver website services or web development services to a client. All right. So I really appreciate your time and your effort, your commitment. And I would like to see you in our subsequent lecture. So do have a wonderful day.